Serena. Dog, you ain't even really let me talk.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal Tunabora, and I've tried to do this intro like about 10 times. I filmed like a 40-minute version, and then I was like halfway through, I was like, I don't like it. Like something isn't right. So I was like, turn it off, restart the filming. So like literally I've been filming since like 11 and it's currently 2 in the afternoon. So I'm just going through it right now, but I've got a lot to say. I want to talk about the Love Island UK season and like the decline. Obviously, I'm not the first person to make a video like this. There's so many people that have been talking about it as well. I want to give my opinion as someone that's been watching Love Island since season 1. Like I was there when Caroline was doing the countdown for season 1. Like when you'd be watching like a random ITV show, like in the corner on like the left, they'd be like 10 days to Love Island, like 9 days to Love Island. Like the promo and the marketing for that like season 1 was crazy. Like, and that's what obviously like I was tuning into season 1 like live as it was playing out. Because some people like sometimes you speak to people who've watched Love Island UK and they're like, oh, I started watching it in season 3, but obviously I've gone back and watched all the episodes. No, I was watching it from season 1. So I think it's been like interesting to see like the decline and seeing like where this went wrong and like how this has gone wrong. Yeah, and also like obviously season 6 of the USA has really popped off. I'm so happy for them because one thing about me is like I love good TV and I love good, like it doesn't matter who or where something's been done. Like if somebody's doing something good and they're like, it's excellent, I'm going to give you your flowers. I'm going to give you. So obviously Love Island USA, like there's no doubt if you compare this season of UK to this season of USA, like the USA has fully devoured the UK version. But I'm also not exaggerating when I say this season of Love Island USA can go head to head with some of the best seasons of Love Island UK. Like probably it's not just the best season of Love Island USA was the season. It can like it's probably if you think of like Love Island episodes, like seasons of all time, this Love Island USA season, like season 6, can go like probably top 2 as like one of the best seasons of all time because they gave us what we have been starved for. Because obviously due to like international like certain things, like we don't have Peacock because I think Peacock was the channel that was showing I think CBS. I'm not sure, but like it was the channel that was where Love Island was being shown, like Love Island USA was being shown at. Obviously, Peacock is not like a channel that we watch in the UK. But so I was like actually having to rely on love. I think the person I'll try and like screenshot put these people on, but those are the people that kept me like give me my Love Island USA fix. And when I say like fix, like I'm obsessed with this Love Island season was because like normally after like Love Island is done, it's like, oh, like that's it, like switch off the TV back to back to my usual life. But this season of Love Island USA, like every single interview with Serena and Cordell, I am there. Every single interview with Janae and Kenny, I am there. Like I and it's so serious. I'm watching this like as in like 5 hours. The interview has been posted 5 hours ago. I am there. Like I am obsessed. Like normally when like with Love Island, like once it's done, it's done. But I'm keeping it like I've I think I've got Serena on TikTok. I've got, and this is not me. This is not me. But guys, when I tell you I'm obsessed with this season, I am obsessed with this season. I'm part of a Twitter community. I'm part of the Serena and Cordell Twitter community. Like when I tell you that the obsession is there, and I need help. Like the obsession is there. There's in terms of communities, there's 3 that I've seen. There's the Love Island USA community. So obviously I'm not a part of that, but it's everything Love Island USA. Like they talk about it. Then there's the she's leaving, or like no, she said she's leaving community. So that is Janae and Kenny's community. Sometimes I do like pop in and like see what's going on. But basically if you watch this Love Island like USA this season, it was when Janae, obviously Kenny brought back Catherine from Casa Mall, and Janae was like, oh, I'm done, like I want to go home. And then but also she spoke to Kenny and she was like, oh, I'm done, like they did speak, and she was like, oh, I wish you the best with your connection, but because I'm going home, sort of thing. And well, she ended up staying because obviously she got to the final. But Kenny went to cry. Like, he was like obviously really emotional, and he went to Leo and Serena, and he was in full on tears, and he was like, "She said she's leaving," like in a really high pitched voice. I'm sorry, but like that was, and so that's what they've called the community. She said she's leaving, like. mad. And then, but like the community that I'm actually a part of is the I just don't want Serena Doll. That I don't know why I'm doing it in the voice. I don't know why I just say it like, but it's better if I do it in the voices. But, that's the community that I'm a part of. Is the Serena and Cordell basically like community. Um, yeah, so they've been giving me my because obviously all the anything new and updated because I'm just like I'm so obsessed with like everything that's going on. So I've been keeping up with the tea, the gossip, all through that community. And obviously that I just want to see a dog. That obviously came from when Cordell coupled up with Daya, like for Casa More, and he brought her back. And I think after like the next day, he did some soul searching and was like, I just want to a dog. Like, yeah, so that's what they call the community. And I think obviously that's really, really funny. The two Twitter, I don't want to call them like pages that have kept me, in the loop was I think they're called the newest bombshell or the new bombshell on Twitter. They did like a thread of all of Serena Cordell's moments from like the beginning to the end. Really loved it, and obviously that kept me like in the loop. And then, but also shout out to Reality TV Kings. Once again, I'll put like the screenshots of the person. They did like mainly they do it like for all reality TV because I've seen they did it for the UK and the US version. But, like any like basically they'll take like the episodes of like the Love Island USA and like they would like shorten them in concise clips. So I was able to like especially watch them the next day. So I'd go to work and I'd be like, what happened in like last episode of Love Island USA? And I was able to watch like, different clips of things of a summary that was like happening. I did try and find like I found like maybe 4 episodes of the whole season on YouTube. Obviously they were had to be heavily edited because of copyright. But there was only like 3 at the beginning, 4 at the end. But so there's a massive gap in the middle. But actually, I'm really excited that the Love Island season 6, like this season's like Love Island USA is actually coming to ITV on August 5th. So I really, really want to. I'm really excited to. I'm definitely gonna start to watch it from the beginning to the end because I want to watch certain people's like time the villa. So but I didn't want to have to wait till August to do this video because then it would have been too long. So but like yeah, I'll definitely be watching. So also if anybody from the UK wants to watch this season of Love Island and doesn't know where to watch it, I mean the USA version, you can watch it on ITVX on August. Yeah, so obviously I want to also let me show you guys my notes because I'm really really proud of myself. This is my notes I've taken and I've done all day. Yeah, so obviously I like set the I want to like really dive into obviously the different things that obviously made the USA version the USA season this season so great. And obviously I want to compare that to not only this season of the UK, but like where all went wrong and why like where we keep missing the mark, especially after the success of 2019. I want to look at the viewing figures overall, but it was a bit like mind-boggling because the USA like they measure theirs with minutes, so I think it was like 900 or so minutes watched this season. And I know that like it was like with number one on like Peacock and stuff like that. But like whereas the UK they measure it in viewers. So I mean the peak was 6 million viewers for 2019, and then like obviously last year, which shocked me because I actually liked last year's season, like with Tyreek, Ella, Whitney Locken. That was actually like low. It was I think 1.4 million people tuned in. And obviously All Stars was slightly higher. I think it was 1.9, and then this season was 2.2. So obviously, although it's been a bit like slightly higher, like compared to 6 million viewers from 2019, 2.2 is still not good. I also was watching Survival of the Fittest because I think they tried to bring another show that was like, oh, we have Love Island, but let's also bring something else that's gonna wow us. So they brought Survival of the Fittest, and I remember watching that. And I mean, it was also like it was interesting. I think Survival of the Fittest was like it makes like if gladiators met Love Island because like throughout the day they were like doing these challenges that were like hardcore like endurance challenges. But then during the like at night they were like coupling up and like obviously boys were brought into the villa, girls were brought into the villa, and they were like forcing a connection. That's actually where I met. I say met like I know this person. I don't, but like that's where I first saw Mariam Musa for the first time. Maz here on YouTube. Some of you guys met her on YouTube I met her on Survival of the Fittest. That's how, reality TV deep I'm in. That's how deep I am in reality TV. I definitely wanted to make this video last week. Because Love Island USA finished, I think, about a week ago. But I wanted to finish the season off for Love Island UK and sort of, give that, like, give my final thoughts, like, once the whole Love Island UK thing is over. With Love Island UK, funnily enough, I was so super happy. Like, the final was yesterday, last night. Super happy that Mimi and Josh won. They were my winners. Voted for Mimi and Josh. Definitely well deserved win. I thought Nicole and Kieran were gonna win because, like, if you look at the past winners, it made sense, especially since they were like boyfriend and girlfriend. So obviously Mimi and Josh won. Nicole and Kieran got second, which is like exactly how I wanted it. I think Ayo and Jessica should have been third. Um, yeah, I think obviously because of the way the whole Castle Mall, Ayo, like the way he like moved off of Mimi, and obviously Mimi was the public's favorite as we saw by her winning. It made sense as to why like he was always in the bottom. Like I don't agree with it, but like it made sense as to why people put him at the bottom because they were such big fans of Mimi. Um, and then obviously Sean and Matilda should have been fourth. Don't care for Sean. Don't care for Joey Essex as well. I think for the US version, Cordell and Serena were my like absolute winners. Obviously, I don't think you can vote internationally, but if I could, I would have voted for Serena and Cordell. Like they deserve to win. I think Janae and Kenny should have been second. I don't know how they didn't, and maybe I think it's also this type of bubble I was in on Twitter. The Twitter bubble I was in made me believe that Janae and Kenny were going to be second. But yeah, but I really like Janae and Kenny. I definitely think that they should be second. Leah and Miguel should have been third, and then it should be Nicole and Kendall. But obviously, it was Serena Cordell, then Leah and Miguel. But I think it's like Leah's popularity. She is like an it girl, and also like her and Miguel look like really good together. I mean, like Janae and Kenny look really good together as well. But like they give like popular girl gets with like sporty guy, like sort of like the cheerleader and the and the guy on the sports team, like they give that vibe. So like I understand why they won, but obviously if it was up to me, it should be Serena Cordell, Janae and Kenny, and then Leah Miguel, and then Nicole and Kendall. So the first thing I want to look at were the casting, the characters. The casting for the USA this season, perfect. The selection also works well. That was done well, and I think it has to do with the casting, like the use of like casting calls. Because I did see like at the end of the season like the final, they did like an advertisement where I was like, if you want to be a part of Love Island this season, go to www.loveisland/casting blah blah blah. And so I was like, that is what the UK is missing. Like the Love Island USA is. I understand like maybe every now and then, popping into someone's DM, but like now this whole rise of the UK doing this whole like I'm gonna be in people like everybody. I'm gonna talk more about it because I'm doing USA UK, but USA I love that they've stuck to the casting call and the casting like have people come to you instead of you coming to people, because obviously especially like there's been so many conversations about like mental health and like you have like ex-islanders now coming out being like no, this is not what I thought. And not really now, but like back like a couple of like years ago, there was like a couple of islanders who were coming out and they were like, oh, this was not what I thought Love Island was, and this was not. And I think when you have casting and you have like people are coming to you, people are lining up and showing you videos and submitting videos, it's more like, oh, well, you came to me, as opposed to like they know that what they're getting themselves into, as opposed to you reaching out to people and then they can also like they can bring up the fact that like, oh, this is not what I expected it to be. I'm not happy that this is how I came across, and then basically causing. And I know obviously legally the stuff to that they obviously sign like documents and stuff. So I'm not saying that I'm worried. I'm not worried for Love Island, but I'm saying that like that idea of like you want people to come on who know like I'm here to give a good show. I'm here to entertain, and that's what a good casting call like or casting like thing does. So I really liked the casting for the US. I really loved the friendships with all the girls, PPG. Fun fact, I didn't know what PPG were. I would just be like, oh, PPG, PPG. I think it means Powerpuff Girls because I was in the group chats and not the group chat in the community on Twitter, and I think I saw a video that I think somebody drew like a Powerpuff like cartoon, but like with Leah, Serena, and Janae. And obviously the girls have now saved it as their screensaver. So I think that was like really, really cute. That's when I put two and two together. So I was like, oh, PPG, because I didn't really know what PPG stood for. But I really, really love PPG. Serena, Janae, and Leah, their friendship was absolutely beautiful to see. I also like honorable mention to Liv and like, who was, because obviously people do talk about like the friendships with the three girls, but as a whole, like the girls, like, Liv and Kayla, like even like Kayla used to share like her clothes with Serena and stuff like that. So I think there's a part where there's like a time where like on the show where Cordell comes in and gives Serena breakfast, and he's like, "Oh, I've not seen you with that bikini before." She's like, "Oh, I got it from Kayla's closet." Like that was like, "Oh, this is it." Because sometimes like there has been like in the UK version, there has been like your like Kaz and Liberty like formed a really, really good friendship. I think they're still like best friends to this day. But like normally it's like two people and then like the rest of you can't hang. But one thing I really liked about this is like all the girls really stuck together. And they also held each other accountable. They, they would get loud at each other and argue, but then at the end of the day they would all like talk about it afterwards. Like even with Liv, like when her and like Leah got into like the heat argument about sending Andrea home. Like afterwards, I'm guessing like they worked it out. And even that it happened again on movie night. And then like Lee was like, shut the fuck up, Liv, shut the fuck up. And Liv was like, do not swear at me. Like she was like Liv was also not backing down. And like at the end, like of it, they all talked, all squashed it out. I really love that friendship. The bromance, obviously the one-sided bromance between Aaron and Rob, I mean it was just like Aaron was in love with Rob. And I really loved it when during movie night when basically Aaron was they were showing Aaron's bits like with him disrespecting Kayla, and then like he'd be like, oh, like whatever, he was like brushing it off, like making her like almost like gaslighting her, like, oh, like whatever, like I'm allowed my experience, like whatever, I'm like, you got to know everybody else, like I'm the and then when it came to Rob, like when they showed Leah basically calling Rob a bitch.
After that, he literally did his big one up there. It was like a movie. Now, you sending three home.
Like being like, oh, you gave me the ick because of the way like you were jumping in the pool and whatever. And she was like laying into him, like seeing Aaron get so emotional. I'm glad Serena clocked him, and she was like, "You are piping up more for Rob than you have done your own situation with Kayla." And I don't think like Aaron replied back, and I was like, "Yeah, like rightfully so. Like you need to get off like your upper Rob's ass, and you need to you need to stop." I also want to talk about the like presenting and stuff like that. I really loved Ian Sterling, like the fact that Ian Sterling was on the USA version, like doing the voiceover. One thing I really, really loved as well was seeing like some like the American like public and stuff like that on Twitter. They were taking like clips and they were like almost like laughing, and like I'm glad that I mean obviously if you are an American viewer, like let me know how you felt about Ian Sterling obviously this season. But I thought like I he's been doing it since season one and he's been smashing it, blowing it out of the park. So I'm really, really happy that I was happy that to see on Twitter that basically people were recognizing that and recognizing that he is funny and like he does bring a lot as well to the voiceover and stuff like that. Ari was an amazing presenter. I obviously wasn't tuning in to when Sarah Hyland was a presenter, so I don't really want to address that and like compare her to Sarah Hyland. But I'd say like Ari was an amazing presenter this season or host this season. I think I was watching like an interview with Serena, and she was talking about how much she loves Ari and she loved how Ari held the guys accountable and held people accountable. And I feel like the way Ari has moved this season like, as a host, it reminds me of like when Caroline Flack was the presenter of Love Island, like in the early like the beginning of the Love Island UK like seasons. One thing I'd say I really like about Caroline Flack, which was different from the presenting that we've seen overall across the Love Island as a whole like franchise, whether it's UK, France, whatever, or like Australia, is that her ability to be like as a host you want to be impartial, you want to be like I'm here to present, I'm here to do this, but like Caroline was like she would treat the islanders like they were her like almost like her babies, her little brothers and her sisters. I barely remember. I think it was Piers Morgan, but he started saying something about the Islanders, and Caroline Flack came in and defended him and was like, "No, you don't know the half of it." Like she came and put her foot down. She was like, "You're not going to talk about these Islanders like my friends and my the people that I've built a connection with, like over in this season. Like you're not going to do that to them. And also like one of the other times, like that's how like long I've been watching Love Island for. Um, that's when I really really respected Caroline was when I think it was season 2, but it was with like Olivia. Olivia, who's like now married to Alex Bowen, and like she has like kids with him now. But because they met on Love Island. But I remember when Olivia was in, she was because I think she was like in that same season with Zara Holland and Katie, like Katie McDermott and stuff like that, and Scott. Their season basically, I remember when because obviously Olivia was like struggling to make a connection, so she was coupled up as friends with Rykard early on. I think like one time we're just like watching, and I think at that time as well, sorry, there was this bombshell. She was a nurse. I think she called Rachel, and she came to the villa and she was getting to know Rykard and they really liked each other. But at that moment, Olivia and Rykard had to share a bed because Olivia and Rykard were coupled up together, even though they were friends. And one time we were just watching the TV, and then Olivia and Rykard were like, getting physical. It was a bit hanky panky, and they didn't tell anybody, they didn't address, like, they didn't say anything. And as viewers, we were like, because it was like, oh, we thought that like Rykard was obviously all about Rachel. So to see that he was like, kissing Rachel and like he was really, really all about Rachel, and then he and Olivia get active in the bed, and obviously nobody knew, nobody saw it. It was like, this is crazy. And obviously there was the public vote, and because of that, Rykard got sent home. I don't know. I don't think he got sent home, but he got put at the bottom, and then everybody was like, "What, Rykard? What?" Because obviously he was also like, there's always that person in Love Island, like UK, the season where they struggle to find someone, they struggle to make a connection, and obviously everybody feels really sorry for them, and obviously like it takes them a while. So obviously people were like, what has Rykard done? Because obviously he was doing fine, so for him to just end up at the bottom, people were like confused. And Caroline, I was like screaming at the TV. I was like, Caroline, say something, because nobody was saying that. So I was like, so Caroline was like, oh, I think of, because back then as well there was no movie night, so we would not have known unless they came out of the villa, like they would not have known. And Caroline like told Rachel. Caroline was like, obviously the reason why the public might have voted for Rijkaard is because this is what they saw like in the villa, and obviously it came out, and then Rachel was like, obviously not, she had a right to be upset, and I don't know whether Rijkaard got sent home for that, or I think somebody else. I think he was definitely at the bottom, but yeah, I don't remember how it got resolved in the end, but that's when I really respected Caroline, because I was like, that makes a good host, somebody that's like, yeah, I'm impartial. Yeah, I need to have some decorum about myself, but at the same time, I'm also a watcher. And after this, I'm gonna watch the show, so I'm gonna move accordingly. I'm gonna speak my mind. I'm gonna also, like, sometimes like the host speaks and says the things that we were all thinking, and obviously I love that about Ari. I think Ari did a good job. I think Mora, Mora needs to go. We can do without Mora. I think it's a bit confusing. Like, obviously, feel free, like, as someone that's been watching, if you've been watching Love Island USA this season, feel free to let me know your thoughts and how you feel about this. But having two hosts is pretty confusing. Because obviously Maura does After Sun. I think I've seen a while as well that Maura was in the villa. She was doing someone out, and I was like, no, 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 like, this needs to be, if you're gonna give it to Ari, give it to Ari. Like, obviously it should be given to Ari, but this should be given to Ari and be given to Ari alone. Like, we don't need two hosts, because obviously sometimes it gets, one thing as well, I was watching, like, I'm not really an avid watcher of the Love Island UK After Sun, but like with the UK After Sun, it's like sometimes Maya Jama would be like, oh, it was really, especially after Casa Amor, when she does it After Sun, like after the Casa Amor like recoupling, when she does it After Sun, she's like, oh, this is what it was like for me, because like everybody was crying, this person was getting emotional, this one, and like they give us like a behind the scenes tea that we didn't know. But like when you have two hosts and somebody's done the recoupling, but another person is just in the studio doing the After Sun, it doesn't really work, and it's a bit like, this is a bit of a disconnect. So I think Ari should be given the main presenter role, and she should be given the After Sun role as well. And then one thing that, like, I think the USA After Sun needs a lot of work. Obviously love the season, but I think like maybe that's the things that, like, I'm trying to think of like things that they could improve on, and the USA version needs a better After Sun. I think they need a live audience, kind of like because obviously the UK After Sun is, can't lie, much better than the US version. Needs a live audience. They need to bring back like the setup needs to be nice because it's just like a chairs and there's a screen and they just sit there and it's just a bit boring. Like I think the USA needs a live audience, like in a whole studio. I really love like the UK, like they have like a bar, and that's where the old like ex islanders who are coming to like give their opinion. Like there's a different ex islander every episode, so I think that the USA can do that, where it's like they bring like have a little area where it's like the bar area, and like an ex islander comes and gives their opinion of like how they're feeling this season, how they're liking this season. Yeah, I think like that's the USA version could benefit from that, and then having a panel. So having Ari could obviously be the main presenter and then build her a panel. I think Leah, Leah should be like should because obviously in the UK that's you have India who was once on I think I've forgotten her season, but obviously she's been on Love Island as well. She was obviously that's where she met Dami. She was on there with like Gemma and Luca, Tashi and Andrew. Like yeah, I love that. About like India. I love that she's been given that role. And obviously Sam, who's from Made in Chelsea, obviously he's on that panel as well. I love Jordan. I think I don't know what his last name is, but obviously he comes in on After Sun pretty frequently as well. And one thing I love about Jordan is that he's not scared to give his opinion, talk his mind. I love that about Jordan. And also recently Amy from season 5, Molly May season, Morris season, stuff like that. She's now come in, and I think it's very refreshing to see things from Amy's point of view and Indy's point of view, because they talk about things as an islander because they've been there before. So they're like, oh, when I was in the villa, it was like this, it was like that. And so I feel like they need to do that with the After Sun. I know I've seen Celie, I think her name is Celie, who was like from old seasons as well. She's on the After Sun panel. I think that could also work. Like they could keep her there. I think yeah, a panel sort of role should be given to Leah or should be given to Liv as well. They would like from this season, they would absolutely eat with that. I think I was having like a random thought, but I think his name is Kempire here on YouTube because he's like a reality TV like connoisseur as well. I think he mainly watches the Real Housewives and stuff, but I think like giving Kempire a role on like Love Island USA, like as a panelist who comes in and says like, oh, I've been tuning into this season and this is how I feel. That would eat. And also I saw an interview with Ryan Bailey because obviously Serena Cordell and also Janae and Kenny. And I think also Miguel, I think, did an interview with Ryan Bailey. And obviously, speaking about him, he knew his stuff because he's been watching reality TV for a long time as well. He was really, really like keeping it in touch with the season. So I feel like giving him like some sort of a role where I don't know when the After Sun is for the US, but like every Sunday because the UK is on a Sunday. It's like every Sunday they talk about what they've seen, give their opinions of every couple. If it's a bombshell, give their opinions about a bombshell, what's happening throughout the week. Speak to the public. Like if you have a live studio audience, speak to the audience. Like give them a let them talk about it, and then also you can bring the people who've been dumped. Like then they can like speak as well, and then like if there's any like what's happening on the next episode, like a little like sneak peek. That and I feel like that would work like for the USA version. That's like just my idea. For the UK, the cast was not good this season. I hate how they've been bringing back old Islanders and ex-Islanders. I know Joey Essex isn't really an ex-Islander. He's just like reality TV star, but still, it was dry. And I think like obviously people have been like literally roasting him and roasting ITV. Like people have been calling ITV broke. Um, Rightly so, because I think they spent their entire budget on Joey Essex and also Eve because Eve performed like did a celebrity performance thing this season. But yeah, all the money clearly went to Joey Essex because we were robbed of like a final day, and we were robbed, even though like I look at this season, I'm just like this season was dry, so it just generally makes sense. But I know, like yeah, like I said, Joey isn't like an ex Islander, but still, it doesn't make sense that like someone his caliber came on the show, especially when clearly you knew that like he's not on the show to really find love. Like he's either been paid to cause drama or he's like I don't know what his motive was, but like he's living with something. Like whenever I was watching Love Island, I was like, I don't know whether like he's been paid to come on here, but he's leaving with something. Like I don't know whether he's leaving with like I don't even want to say clout because it's like he's been and gone. And obviously for people who are like from the US, if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, who's Joey Essex? Joey Essex is like the equivalent of like if like Jax from like Vanderpump Rules, if like Jax from Vanderpump Rules came on Love Island USA, like that would be the equivalent, or like someone from like The Hills, like The Hills, that sort of like that American TV show, like one of those OG, like one of them came on the show, you'd be a bit like, because obviously they're new to Love Island, so it's like they're not like they've not done Love Island before, but they're still they know about reality TV, they know how to work a camera, they know how like this works. So of course they're like at advantage compared to like other like the regular people who have never done this before. Comparing the product like in terms of like After Sun for the UK, compare like After Sun like presenting Maya Jama, everything like that. That still like the UK version was still good at that. Now going on to production quality, I think USA kept their challenges, which is amazing. I really, really love to see these challenges. One thing about challenges when it comes to Love Island is it can do different things because it refreshes your views as a reader, reader as an like somebody watching like as an audience like a watcher. It like refreshes because obviously you're watching them in the villa, the same old like them waking up, eating breakfast, laying in the sun, and then I'll see if there's drama, there's drama. If not, then it's like you all get ready to do the makeup, come out at night, nicely dressed in heels and dresses and whatever. And there's like more like it's just in the villa constantly. It's like one thing that the challenge does is that it just gives a new scenery. But also another thing, like, and if it's done well, it is divine. But like sometimes like with the right challenge, like really stirs things up. And I think it was really, really done well in Kaz and Toby season, like Kaz, Toby, Chloe, Faye, Brad, which is like in the UK. Like I don't know what season that was, but basically I remember Kaz and Toby were coupled up early days, and I think the Kaz did have some like slight like she was like, oh, I don't think like Toby's attracted to me because he's not really pulling me as much, but they were still coupled up, and then obviously Chloe was a bombshell and she came in, and then I think Toby was like talking to somebody that like saying that he really likes Chloe. I think Chloe was also like saying that she really liked Toby. Obviously, they didn't tell each other, but also Kaz didn't know about this. So obviously, then a challenge happens, and I don't know what the challenge was, but it was like I know you had to do something, and then like you'd pick a guy that you want, like you pick a guy and you'd kiss at the end. So obviously, Toby picked Chloe, Chloe picked Toby, and obviously Paul Kaz was watching, and she was like something isn't making sense. And obviously all the other girls were like, this is not making sense. People were shocked. People were like, hang on a second. And obviously that is what a challenge does. Obviously it wasn't nice for Kaz because that's not how you'd like to find out that the guy that you like or you've been coupled up with is like feeling somebody else. But like a challenge has the ability to do that. Like it just stirs something, and it's like, oh, like this person actually likes this other person, and it like just causes. So I really liked that. And one of their best challenges I literally put was Divine in the USA season, and was the stick or twist. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I don't know whether like in the USA, like in the USA, like seasons of Love Island, they've done it before, but I've never seen this done in the UK before. They actually changed the entire villa, and I love that the production, like the fact that it wasn't just like just get up on the grass and just dance, because that's how like the UK version would have done it. Like look how they did the sports, see how horrible that looked. The USA, like they built like an actual like a dance floor, and they did like a whole thing, and then it was like stick or twist, like obviously, and obviously that caused the thing with Serena Cordell. Like I want to watch it when it does come out, like how that played out.
Also, I don't know if anyone was watching Love Island tonight, but they said that Love Island USA, like the season that just happened, is coming onto ITV August 5th. I'm so happy because that season of Love Island USA looked so good. Like the other ones, nah, but this one looked so good. Like I was literally watching all the clips on TikTok, and although I already know what happens, I'm gonna watch the whole thing when it gets put onto ITV
and stuff. But that was obviously upsetting as somebody that stand Korean, even though like they're fine now. Like that was like really, I really felt sorry for Cordell, but yeah, like I love that challenge. The Twitter challenge, really, really good to see. I love the love the Odell Beckham bit. I was like, I literally can't believe that they'd bring that tweet in. And obviously, like Dea was like crying because like, what was really funny was when that tweet came out, and then they were, because first they have to read it, and it's like blank, blank, and then they have to guess who it is. And then like Serena was like, well, the sure as hell wasn't me. And then like they all started crying because like she knew that it was. But I think like people have also said that like the person that wrote the tweet did not think it's. I don't know whether it's real, whether it's not, but that was a crazy moment. And then obviously, like I think watching the if you go back and watch like season 5, because I think season 4 was like the last time that they did the Twitter challenge. Um it was in whose season was it? It was like Olivia Atwood and Kem and Amber, their season. And they did like a Twitter challenge, and obviously Stormzy even tweeted and said like, Chris, like, you're too good for her, like meaning Olivia. And obviously that's when like Stormzy was like watching Love Island. Those are the good days. And then but like in Molly May season, it was called News Splash. So obviously like actually I think they had two. I think they had a Twitter challenge, but they had a News Splash challenge. Like the News Splash challenge was and please go back and watch it, because like I think that was when the producers were like, we probably can't do this anymore. Um, but basically in the challenge, you see like I think a question comes in where somebody says like, and basically what would happen for the challenge was that they'd get an article, like the first line of an article, and then so I mean the title of like a magazine article, and they would see like where they found it from. It was like the Sun, the Daily Mail, this Mirror, whatever. And then like it would basically like how you do the Twitter challenge, but they'd blank out the person's name. And then obviously I think Belle was like it was Belle's turn, and then I think the statement was like, oh, um someone is pretending to be happy for Mora. And then obviously Belle picked like, and obviously like if you want to, you'd pick the person who you thought it was by throwing like water in their face. And Belle picked Molly May, and Molly was like really upset about that because she was like, and you see her like you see Belle walking towards her, and Molly's like, surely not, like as in like that can't be me because I'm really really happy for Maura. And obviously when Molly gets the water on her face, like she almost like looks at Tommy with like such confusion. But like in that moment, I was like, oh, like you can almost see like where like all the police looked at that and thought, we can't do this again. And obviously it came out that like the article, like Belle was right. It did say that like the article did say it was Molly's name, and obviously Molly was like really annoyed about that because obviously Molly was like her best friend. So I can see where like you can see that like over time where like the challenges were taken out and they were like, oh, we can't do this, we can't do this, we can't do this, we can't do this. But I love that the USA version kept that. I see the perspective where if you are an islander and you get a Twitter challenge and people are saying like, oh, this person is doing this person's playing a game, this person's doing that, it gives you get like the short end of the stick. But one thing I'd say like the USA played it really well was that everybody got their lashings. Like in like the UK version where they went wrong is that they absolutely like they laid into Molly May, like they went hard on like one person. And then like other people got really really good ones, but like in the USA version everybody got criticism. Like Serena got, I think Serena's one was Serena's Twitter challenge was that somebody said like, oh, I don't know what Cordial has done wrong, Serena's been wishy-washy. And obviously like yeah, like everybody got like splashed. I think theirs was like they got slimed, but like what I'm saying is that everybody got like held accountable. So it's like nobody ever feels like, oh, why is everybody getting good tweets and I'm getting really bad ones. So yeah, I feel like maybe the UK version can go back to doing the Twitter challenge, but perhaps like do it where everybody gets critiqued, so you don't go back to the villa feeling like, oh crap, like everybody loves this person, but I'm the most hated sort of thing. In terms of challenges for the USA, I was really, really struggling to find, or like not really find things that were wrong, but like what things were missing. I know that like the USA version was really, really short compared to the UK version. So I'm really, really nitpicking here. But I would have really loved to see a Snog Marry Pie. I think that would have been, it's not so like if you're watching from like the US, you watch the US version and you don't know what the Snog Marry Pie is. It's that literally it's like the boys and the girls take it in turns, but like the boys will line up and then the girls, like each girl will take it in turns to be like, who does she want to like snog me and like kiss? Who does she want to marry? And then like you put the ring on the person's finger, and who do you want to pie? And like obviously that causes drama and stuff like that as well. I think I would have really loved to see that after Casa Amor, at the day after Casa Amor. I'd have loved them to play that game, Snog Marry Pie. And I mean the Twitter challenge was also perfect, but I think if you would have like given Daya and all of them an extra day, and then you'd have done the Twitter challenge and then Snog Marry Pie, and then that like causes some issue because like people, guys, even though they're coupled up with somebody, like I think who would have done really well. or who would have made good TV for this season of the Love Island USA for Snugmore Pie would have been Aaron, because I think Aaron, I was really intrigued. Rob as well. Rob would be messy, but I think Aaron would play, because I would be intrigued to see who Aaron would love to kiss. Aaron would love to marry, because obviously either way, if he kisses somebody else, it's gonna cause like Kayla's gonna feel some type of way. If he marries somebody else, Kayla would have felt some type of way. So I think like I really want to see that this season as well. I'm gonna be a bit like wishy-washy. I think like there's been so many drinking games in the UK version, like, and because obviously it's cheap, like cheap and pretty easy to do. Like just have like some questions in a bowl, have the islanders sitting on the fireplace, and then just have one islander come in and be like, no, here's the islander who you like the most. Here's the islander who you like the put the, and there's always like a feet one, like put the feet in the mouth of the islander you feel like it's, and it's just like, and the thing is like one, like I said, the right challenge causes the right reaction and makes a good episode. But like we saw that every single episode, they're not doing a recoupling, they're doing a drinking game, they're doing like a different never have I ever. It's like what is this? Like what are we at? Are we at camp? Like this is Love Island Villa. Like give them like a challenge, let them do something. But I think I'm saying like maybe one type of drinking game, one type of like that for like one evening would have worked really, really well with Love Island USA. Because like I said, that and also like Snow Mary Pie causes some ish, because it's like with especially this season, like when Ayo, when he got, even though like he got back with Mimi, he got a question saying, or like which islanders, like kiss the islander who's most your type, and he kissed Uma. That is like that would cause some issue like in the USA season. Like if you had like, oh, he gave like Aaron a question and was like, I'm picking on Aaron here, but like you give Aaron a question and was like, pick the islander who you are most attracted to, or the islander, like the islander who is most your type, or something like that, and he kissed somebody else. Like that would have been good TV. So like that, but like I said, I'm nitpicking because like all the challenges were perfect for the USA this season, but I'm just like putting things in the mix. I put lie detector challenge, but I think that would have caused some shit. Like I think certain challenges is like, oh, I'd really love to see Kayla and Aaron do it, but like if like Janae or Kenny, or like say Kenny failed his lie detector challenge, that would have been like that would have caused some shit. So like I'm actually glad that we didn't do a lie detector challenge. So because obviously in the UK they've done it in the past where like like the guys will get shocked with like whole like lie detector thing, and then like the girls will write questions that they want to know like most like from the guys, and then the guys will answer yes or no. And obviously, if they answered like if they got it wrong, the room would turn red, and obviously the girls would be like, "What?" Like, and it'd cause so much shit. So like, obviously, lie detector challenge in the USA this season, Aaron and Kayla, good TV. But if anybody else would have failed, like it would have actually, I think it would have probably changed the what the final would have looked like. Or even like Kendall and Nicole doing a lie detector challenge would have also been like caused some shit as well. But yeah, I take that back. I don't think that the lie detector challenge, because obviously everybody has to do it. So obviously it's all fun and games for the couples that you don't want. Like when it causes some, or like even like think about it, like if Rob got a question that was like, do you still like Leah? And then like lie detector challenge, that would have that that would have caused a bit of drama. But like I sort of understand, because obviously if say Cordell would have like gotten a question wrong, like because you can't like do a lie detector challenge where like somebody, like you can't pick or choose who gets to do it. Like everybody, it's either everybody in or everybody out. So I think like that's where like it's a bit, because I was like some people would have made good TV, but other people it's like I'd have hate to see them if they've gotten like the questions wrong. Celebrity performance, but I don't think they need it, because I don't think like I think also that's where it went wrong. Like with the UK version, when Craig, I think his name was Craig David, when he came in, obviously Anton was crying in season 5. That was funny because of the Anton's reaction. Michael narrating the situation. But I don't understand why we keep having celebrity, because I don't know what they keep doing. Especially with this season, we've got like 2. We had like Jess Glynn come in and do the whole Jet 2 thing. But also I think Jet 2 worked with Love Island. But then and then you had Eve, which I'm not complaining. Eve did the damn thing, but like, and obviously last season you had Neo. So I'm just like, what are the celebrity performances for? Like, is it to show that like? And I think it's like in the beginning, the early seasons, it made sense like with Craig David and stuff, because it's like the popularity of the show went so high that it's like, oh, I understand why, like, going so high. But like now, I'm just like, this makes no sense. Like this makes no sense why like some people are being brought on the show, and obviously like you're wasting funds by like paying all these celebrities and paying all these musicians to come on sing for an evening, and then it's like nothing happens. So actually, yeah, I take that back. Celebrity performer. I don't know why I wrote this, but it didn't. It was needed. I also put like extra bits. Basically for this season, they didn't give them any extra bits. So like in the UK, you have Love Island Monday to Friday, and then on Sunday, and then you also have an artisan on Sunday as well. But like on a Saturday, you have like Love Island extra bits. Obviously, in the USA version, like they didn't do extra bits this season. Obviously, I think once they where once because I understand why like they went in this season thinking, oh, we're not going to do extra bits because nobody's tuning in, and we're just wasting our time doing all the editing. But I think this season, once they saw how popular it was going, like it was like how well the season was going, they should just started giving us extra bits. I know, like obviously to then change the schedule and be like, oh, now because with extra bits, it's either you do it from the beginning or you don't do it at all. So I think it's like so especially because I think so when you look at TV like and how TV works. It's not just you can't just be like, oh, we're gonna start doing extra bits. Like the network has to know and has to put things in place, like scheduling in place to make sure that like, okay, this person's going in at 8 o'clock, this person's going in at 9 o'clock. So it's like if to have to change the scheduling of the network, that would have like a lot would have to go into place. So actually understand why like it's a bit of an issue, but like yeah, or maybe like now that like the show is popular, they could have given us some extra bits like at the end. But it's sad that we will never know. We will never see certain things because now because we also have like the islanders who are coming out being like, oh, this happened behind the scenes, this happened behind the scenes, but we weren't like we're not going to be shown that, which is a bit like upsetting. Also, one thing that I picked up was that the prize money for the USA was 100k, and whereas the UK was 50k. Obviously, the USA deserved it because how much they fed us this season. In fact, give them a million. Like this season was absolutely incredible. The USA do still do split or steal or whatever that thing is called, and I think they could do without it because it doesn't give what it's intended to give. Like, because I think not really it doesn't give, but it's like it breaks up the way the final is. It's like so with the final yesterday, obviously there's the people keep breaks like they announced the fourth place, announced the third place, and then obviously they announced the whoever won. So like when you announce the winner, it's like a way, like when Mimi and Josh won, it was like way, and then obviously like Maya was like pulled Mimi aside and was like, oh, how do you feel about winning? And obviously she gave her last bits, and it was like that's the end of the show, right? Because obviously, in the UK they used to do split or steal, but then it just was like, okay, you guys are just gonna split it anyway. Because I don't think there's ever been a history in Love Island where somebody has stolen the money. I think that would be insane, but like, yeah, but like we've never really seen that. So in the US version, I feel like it messed with the momentum a bit because it was like, Nicole and Kendall were announced um as like fourth place couple, and obviously Leah, no, Janae and Kenny, and then it was like obviously the winners, Serena and Cordell, and it was just happiness. And obviously you see like Cordell take off his blazer, all the boys run to him, and he's like happy, happy, happy. And then Ari comes and she's like, I think even then, like I think Ari was crying a little bit because she was like really happy for Serena and Cordell, and then she's like, okay, like split up again. Like now we've got two envelopes in my hand. Whoever picks it, I was like, we don't need this. Like it should be where you've won, like split 50k, and then they all jump in the pool. Like that just breaks everything up because it's like you're on such high, like a cloud, like you're on so high, and then it's like, okay, come back to the front, and then you're building this suspense, and it's like it's actually unnecessary. So I think that's one thing I'd put in. I'd say like the US needs to just get rid of the split or steal. Like it just makes no, like it doesn't do anything but like mess around with the momentum. I wanted to do a section on viewer engagement, and I was like, for the USA, obviously certain clips and pictures like went viral. Like I think the video of like Cordell, like so we know yapping, and then like Cordell like just looking at her like in such admiration. I think that was beautiful. Obviously that made its rounds on Twitter. Also as well as like their winning photo like across the board had like hundreds and thousands of likes on Twitter. Like it was insane. And I was like, I love the producers understanding how viral and how successful this season was, and like like that's why like they did the Twitter challenge, and the Twitter challenge worked well because it's like they know that like, okay, this season is so liked, let's incorporate so many other like people and bring that forward. So I really, really like that. For the USA. For the UK, I felt like obviously due to the Euros, like the engagement over time was a bit wishy washy. Like there were times where like, especially when I'm watching Love Island UK, I'm on I'm on there, like I'm on Twitter, and there were some times where it's like some of these accounts I'm absolutely cackling at with their tweets. Like on a regular day, they'd be hitting like thousands and thousands of like likes. Like some of them were like really really struggling. Like there wasn't really a lot of tweets. Like I was always going back to the same old tweets. Sorry guys, my mic actually went off because I've been talking for a while. I really really like the dumping where it was brutal, but like the dumping of, I don't know who it was, but obviously when it comes I'm gonna watch it again. But it was when the islanders had to like pick who they wanted to save, but like they had to stand behind the person. That was, whoever came up with that needs a raise. That was insane. So you had like I think they had to pick like, I think the islanders ended up picking Rob and like saving Rob and Liv. But I don't know who it was, but it was like a girl stood on her own, and that was like really really sad. Because even like Liv was like, oh, I hope, because I think Leah was like the last girl to make a decision, and Leah was like, oh, like I hope like at least Leah goes and like stands behind her so that she doesn't feel like she's standing alone. But obviously Leah was like, I love you, but I'm gonna still stand behind. So all the girls stood behind Liv, and then you had like that one girl on the left on her own, like, and that was so sad to see. But that was very, very interesting. That was like a twist of a dumping, which I love to see. Joey and Sean constantly picking at Mimi was horrible to see, and I think like that's what people were saying. Like for Love Island UK, that always preaches about like mental health, always singing about mental health. The way that they've like allowed that to happen for as long as they did was like mind-boggling. Like you guys have got bigger fish to fry, where it's like, oh, we can't do a Twitter challenge, and we can't do this, and because obviously mental health, but like certain things you're gonna allow to happen because. But then that doesn't impact, like they didn't really care about Mimi's mental health when constantly like day after day after day after day, like Sean and Joey were constantly bringing the whole terror situation up. And also like seeing how much like Cordell like really loved like Serena from the beginning. Like one thing I really liked about the opening episode was when obviously they were kissing each other and stuff like that, and then Coy when I say kissing each other, like the icebreaker challenge that they did, like in the first episode where they all came to the villa, they all dressed up nicely, and then they had to like play the game, and it's like kiss the islander who you did it, like it sort of like allowed them to get a bit comfortable around each other. But obviously when they got to make when they got given the chance to make the decision, Coy Janae, Serena, and I think her name was Andrea, they all rushed to Coy, and then obviously Coy picked Janae, and then it meant that like Serena was like vulnerable, but like, and I'm glad that Cordell went first, because it then, even when he did make, because I think if Kendall had gone first, because Kendall was stood on his own as well, if Kendall would have gone first, it'd have been like maybe like Cordell had to pick Serena, because like that was what was left. But like I love like when them going to Cordell first, and then Cordell saying like, I think Ariana was like, oh Cordell, do you have your eye on anybody? And then Cordell being like, I still do. And then obviously Serena, I was blown away, and I loved how like Cordell really really liked Serena. Both Love Island UK and USA did a sports day, and it was very very different in looks. The USA version, like the sports day was incredible. They had like, I don't know what it was called sports day, but they transformed the whole villa. Like, so they put like, if you're doing like equestrian or whatever it is, like equestrian, like horse riding, they put like the thing, like people, they transformed the villa. And then they had like the second round was when like, I think they put like a whack-a-mole, but like without having, like you had to just throw like the water balloons. They had that, and then like having like the race between, I think Leah and Miguel, and I think it was Nicole and Kendall, I think it was, or correct me if I'm wrong, but like them getting to row in the actual ocean, like that was incredible. Like that sports day was, well, like the production, the budget was there. The UK version of sports day, they were literally given an egg and spoon, and they were given like a rubber dinghy, and they were like, yeah, get in the pool, get in the, like it was so lackluster, and it was so like the budget was so low. It was just like, I was like, what is going on? Like, what is going on here? Castle Mall for the UK was a little bit like, it's now becoming a little bit predictable. Like, I love that the USA version was like the men stood on business. So even though the Casa Amor was shorter. I remember like back in the early seasons, like Casa Amor would go on for a week, but like Casa Amor this season like was, I think, on both of them, like the UK and the US, I think it was only like about 3 days, but or like 2, but like the men, even though like they've known these girls for 2 days, Kenny, Cordell, Miguel bringing the girls back and being like, yeah, I had a connection, like I'm bringing these girls back. But then in the UK version, like somebody said that like Liam has like ruined Casa Amor for like the entire franchise, because Liam was able to kiss and like move mad during Casa Amor. Then obviously, even though like he got exposed for it on movie night and by, I think her name was Lily, he like got back with Millie. Millie took him back and they ended up winning the show. So somebody was like, I know that a lot of these guys have watched the show and have been like, oh, that's my game plan, I can like move mad in Casa Amor as long as I don't bring a girl back, that should be it. So I think like the UK version needs to come up with some, I don't know, Casa Amor is that like, it's a pinnacle, like it's part of the Love Island brand, but I think they need to like do something different. And maybe I think even like the casting, like them changing the casting might just work a little bit better. I also put the cultural impact, like for, I want to talk about like cultural impact. The USA public, just come forward, like this is why I'm giving you guys your flowers. You did a dumb thing with your voting, because like one thing I can say about this season, I don't know what it's like with like the other seasons, but one thing I loved about the, you know, the American public in their voting of this, like of Love Island, was that they weren't buying the foolishness, like, and that's one thing I loved about American public and their voting, is that you guys were not buying the foolishness where like it would have been politically correct. Because I think Aaron and Kayla were boyfriend and girlfriend. Had Aaron and Kayla, like if you took the season of like Love Island the USA season and you brought it to the UK, like, and you give them all British accents, like Aaron and Kayla probably would have won, and Nicole and Kendall would have gone higher. Like they would have, I don't know, maybe they might have won or they might have come second, but like Nicole, but I think like it was really, really interesting to see that like the American public was not buying the bull crap that was being sold to them from like Aaron, and like, you know, what was going on between Nicole and Kieran, like at the end of it, like when you could see that Nicole was, I don't know whether like she wasn't like, I think obviously she was cautious for a reason, but like obviously Kendall was like, oh, I love you, I love you, love you, love you, and Nicole was like, just wasn't ready to say it back. Despite everything, like regardless, like the American public was like, we're gonna vote for a couple that is genuinely in love and genuinely believable, whereas like in the UK it's just about, oh, vote for like the couple that looks the best, like oh, this person's boyfriend and girl, like Liam and Millie winning. I don't understand why like they ever won that show, but it's to do with like respectability politics and like, oh, me and Liam look cute or whatever, or like they look the part. But like I'm glad that the American public were not on that. Yeah, so that is my thoughts. I'm looking at how long this video is. Currently it's like literally like this video is going to be over an hour long. I'm going to try and edit it down so it's like as low as possible. Like my voice is literally gone. But thank you guys, if you reached this part of the video, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. I really appreciate it. Please like and comment and subscribe if you want to. Let me know what you guys think about this season of Love Island, both the UK and the USA if you watched it. Let me know as well, like, if you have like these thoughts about Love Island going into a decline, like what have you noticed as well that the UK has like been missing, like that's caused a decline over the years. Let me know like what you think is next for Love Island USA, and how do you think they should maintain that momentum